Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about the Twilight Saga Eclipse. And this movie came out in 2010, and I thought it was funny bad, and it wasn't good in the slightest. And any enjoyment I get from this movie is just laughing at the film because it doesn't do anything well, and there's some really cheesy special effects, and there's lots of logical errors in the movie that just don't make any sense, and pretty much all this movie has to offer for me is unintentional comedy. And there isn't really any specific moment that stood out to me as super funny. It was just always entertaining because of like how ridiculous each situation was. And I can't really pick a favorite scene in the movie because there's lots of really funny moments. Just like the first two movies, there's no good performances really. Kristen Stewart, she's not very good in this movie. Like in the first two movies, she constantly blinks and kind of like shakes, and like I can never tell what she's going for. And Robert Pattinson is the best part of the movie. He's hilarious, and for the same reasons he's funny in the first two movies. It's like he knows that he's in a bad movie, and he's just trying to get out of there. And in many ways, he's kind of just having fun with it. Like, not in every way, like in ways that are really obvious. It's just like, it's clear he just does not want to be there, and I just find that to be really funny. I didn't find any of the action scenes to be particularly exciting or engaging. It was kind of just boring and poorly put together, and the special effects aren't great, and the wolves in the movie, they look a bit better than the first movie, even though that isn't really saying much. I thought the music choices were really out of place and did not work in the scenes they were in whatsoever. And really the entire movie is just really awkward and either really cringe-worthy, but at the same time, that's kind of what makes it funny, is because it's so awkward and stupid that it kind of sells me what I want. I don't watch these movies to take them seriously. I watch them to laugh at them. And I got quite a bit of enjoyment from this one in particular, and surprisingly enough, I didn't feel the runtime. I was entertained, even though I'm not enjoying the movie in the way that it wants me to be entertained by it. It's, at the very least, it didn't feel like it was dragging on for way too long, even if nothing happened in the movie, just like the previous two movies. Like, barely anything happened. And pretty much all of the summary of events could be summed up into like a short film for both the first and second movie. At most, two short films, but definitely not a feature-length film because these movies are always way too long and they do not need to be 2 hours long. I'm sorry. Should have been an hour and a half, but instead we get movies that are over 2 hours. The only things that happen in the movie is that Edward asks Bella to marry him. Well, in the second movie, he asked that at the end of the second movie, and there's a bit of conflict between that because Bella wants to be turned into a vampire, and Edward's like, no, you don't want to do that, and they talk about that for like one scene, maybe two scenes, I think. But it doesn't really go anywhere, and by the end of the movie, she kind of just made up her mind, it's like, yeah, I'll marry you. I never felt as though there was an arc in the movie, and really nothing of consequence happened, really, and I never felt as though there were any stakes, and it was just another movie where nothing happened. And there's barely anything to talk about with this movie. It's just another Twilight movie. It was funny. I enjoyed the parts where it was funny bad. But if you're going to take this movie seriously, then this movie is not for you. It doesn't do anything right. It's a mess, poorly acted, and the music choices are terrible, and the action is bad, and there's some really weird editing choices, and there's like barely anything good about the movie. And when characters are like in an environment where it's really cold, it's like you don't see any breath, and that was kind of annoying. But my favorite parts of the movie were when Jacob was on screen and he was just like comparing to, he was just saying like how much better of a person he is from an objective standpoint. Because there's a scene where Bella is like freezing cold and she can't use Edward to warm up because Edward's cold, like his body is cold because he's a vampire and that's what they do, or sorry, that's just what they are. And Edward, he's nice and warm, and so like he cuddles with Belle just to warm her up. And literally, when he comes into the tent to like warm her up because they're like on a mountain, his excuse for doing this, he says, "I'm." He says, "I'm gonna try and say this without laughing this time. I'm." Oh. Okay. I'm I'm hotter than you. I'm hotter than you. Oh my god. It's so funny. I almost died when that happened. And there's loads of really terrible lines just like that in the movie. And they're pretty funny. So if you're looking for a funny bad movie, here you go. But if you're looking for an actual good movie, no, this is not for you. Especially if you don't like the Twilight movies up until this point and you just find them really boring. And with all that being said, I'm going to give the Twilight Saga Eclipse a 2 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos as always. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of the Twilight Saga Eclipse, and my social media links, they will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for The Hunt for Red October. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.